Hello, my name is Kwabena Boateng, founder and president of African Diaspora Nation and also host of the Reconcile Africa show. Many thanks to the organizers of the Black Sustainability Summit for this opportunity to engage on this very, very important theme, sustainability. It is a great need within our community globally, whether in Africa, within the diaspora, and today I'll be sharing on foundations of sustainability.
That's what it's about. If you're an engineer and you build a building, you start with the foundation. It's got to be wide or deep or solid, or the structure is not going to hold up. So the same principles. And once you understand the foundation, then you look at communication, being able to articulate yourself, your vision, your mission, your goals, your objectives, being able to network. That's important as well. Then being prepared. This is what I call my 5 keys to success. You know, being prepared, setting long and short-term goals, developing a life plan or a business plan, being motivated. How many of us jump up every morning and say, yes, I can't wait to get up, get to work, start my business, make these phone calls, or run home and hurry up and go to sleep so they can hurry up and get up the next morning. And then academia. Focusing on your education. So part of that balance and being grounded and understanding what it takes to be successful, I reflect on my 5 keys: education, preparation, motivation, communication, and what we just talked about, foundation.
To be educated is to know yourself, is to know thyself within a static and evolutionary framework.
Take a rose. So within a static sense, it's a rose. It's here to make the world more beautiful, to spread its nice fragrance wherever it pops up. A rose is a true gift to the world. But a rose must also be known within its evolutionary framework. The fact that the rose evolved in its growth and maturity never changed the fact that it was a rose. Even as a seed, it was still a rose, right? So knowledge of self within this context identifies the individual and ultimately the family and the community. I am becoming, and I will be.
Ancient African sages embodied in their consciousness and in their utterances when they said Ubuntu. I am because you are, and you are because I am. This is a paradigm which assures peace. This is a paradigm which is inclusive. Now, when it comes to knowledge of self, we each have our own individual journeys to come to that place where we are self-aware and we are self-actuated and we are self-sufficient.
Why is this so important? It is important, and here I'll share my own personal experience. I grew up in Ghana, West Africa, in a society which had at some point in its history been subject to colonialism. I grew up around sayings like, when you're going to church and you see a white man, turn around because you've seen God. I grew up singing songs like, my ancestors, they worshipped inanimate objects, but we worship the real and living God.
The mission I grew up in, we were not allowed to speak our dialect. We couldn't speak our dialect. We could not braid our head. We couldn't do anything that was culture relevant. So as we grew up, we didn't know, they didn't teach us anything about Africa. The honesty is, for me, I thought for a long time Liberia was the only country on earth. And then from then on, as I was growing up, then I got to go to Monrovia. Then I heard of a place called Ghana. And then I heard of a place called Sierra Leone. And then Ivory Coast was later on. And
What do you think was happening with the intrusion of such ideas and mindsets in the community? Insidious, subtle. But guess what? Our minds were programmed a certain way. What I believe is the greatest need for sustainability is to evolve an understanding, a philosophy that unifies, a philosophy which accentuates the fact that the tribe you come from is important, but important sustainably only within the context that you are, as your person and as your tribe, a unique contribution to humanity. Your religion, as well as religious beliefs, needs to be reimagined within the context that it is a contribution to the greater quest of humanity, of men and women, to know themselves, to know what they must do. So we're talking about sustainable community building, looking at education within the context of illuminating our true selves, that we may see clearly around the world. Secondly, within the context of another level of building, which is a paradigm or a theology or a philosophy, a philosophy that translates the context of tribe, religion, color, within the context of diversity necessary for enriching the whole. So at this point, I'd like to talk about some key performance indicators which we can use to evaluate ourselves, the work of our organizations, taking into account what I've already shared. What would be a good key performance indicator of unity within our community? We are united in defense. We united largely in the way we vote. But are we united in offense? Are we united in building, in developing? Are we letting our philosophical understanding of the need to unite translate into tangible projects, development projects, which impact our basic needs, education, health, safety, and ultimately value creation through technology, research, and development.
You don't buy into what people say you are. It's about who you say you are.
So what are some of these solutions that we can inculcate or integrate into various activities? I'll go down to the family level, because I believe a family is the basic and foundational building block of a nation. The family is the factory which produces people who go out into the larger community, into the nation and into humanity. So what can we do on the family level to build that consciousness and awareness of authentic self-identity, of purpose? Let's take the routine in the house with children. I'll say storytelling. Also tours. Participating in tours which catalyze the very personal process of being centered. Whether it's taking a trip to Africa or taking a trip to a site of historical significance in your family, in your ancestry. I believe these things are important in building this sense of identity, this sense of pride, this sense of self-worth. And let me even correct myself. It is not about building, it is about an unveiling. We have a basic human dignity. Every human being has that. It is about the unveiling of this dignity, this sense of worth, and being actualized in a manner that results in being self-sufficient. Because guess what? When you know who you are within a static and evolutionary framework, you are highly creative, you are highly innovative, and that adds value, and that creates wealth. And it's not selfish. It's not self-centered. It is self-transcendent. And it is value-added. To learn more about African Diaspora Nation, you can find us at www.africandiasporanation.org and African Diaspora Nation on Facebook and Instagram. Join us for our conversations on Saturdays and on Thursday evenings on how we can build together. Thank you.